Hope you're doing good. Micah back with another video. Back here to talk about the Galaxy S24 Plus versus the iPhone 15 Pro about 6 months later. I believe I did my first comparison around January, and really that comparison was a little bit more towards the cameras, and then I did a general review or overview of the devices. But in terms of usability, where these phones are standing at today now in the summer of 2024, how is the Galaxy S24 Plus faring against the iPhone 15 Pro? Now, whether you're talking about the 15 Pro or the 15 Pro Max, these are the best of the best that we have right now, discounting the foldables. And shout out to Samsung for refreshing the foldables line. Let me know what you guys think about the new Galaxy Z Fold 6, Z Flip 6, Galaxy Watch Ultra, Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, and the Galaxy Ring. Surprisingly, I did a poll on YouTube in my community tab. If you guys go check it out and want to vote yourselves, I asked you guys what you guys were interested in, and most of you guys voted for the Galaxy Watch Ultra. Now, of course, it's my Apple Watch SE, but a lot of you guys voted for the Galaxy Watch Ultra. It actually surprised me a little bit, and it had me intrigued as to whether or not maybe I should bring it to the channel because you guys are really interested in that. Followed up by the Fold and the Flip, or the Fold and the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. And then the Flip. Flip came in third, and nobody was interested in the Galaxy Smart Ring, which was a little surprising considering the fact that there's no subscription on that. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about those new devices from Samsung. Shows you how on top of the game Samsung has been staying with their devices. And with this reining in at 6.7 inches, you can't beat a device like this. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be rough. You're going to need potentially the iPhone 15 Pro Max to really truly compete against the Galaxy S24 Plus. And so just in terms of what they've done for me since I've been using both of them is they've really got me out of my comfort zone. And by that, you guys probably know, you guys don't really see me with cases that often on my phones. I've only been rocking cases more recently with these two phones in particular. And that's because I like the way cases fit and feel on these phones. Despite this being a bigger phone, cases have not ruined my experience. If anything, they've kept it neutralized, or with some cases enhanced my experience using this primarily with MagSafe or magnetic charging capabilities. And with the iPhone, with that already embedded into the iPhone itself, the aesthetic, the fashion size, the ability to accessorize your cases with the iPhone 15 Pro, and because it's smaller, it keeps it still small and keeps it a small profile with the iPhone 15 Pro. Both these phones have gotten me out of my comfort zone from that perspective, and I definitely appreciate that because I have a nice little case, little storage area, if you will, where I can hang my cases and kind of pick some of my favorite ones that I rock from my iPhone in particular. And these cases are too big to really rock on that kind of shelf that I have, so fortunately I can't do that. But that's definitely something I appreciate, is taking a risk with both of these phones. Really more so the iPhone than the Samsung, since I've always been with Samsung. But taking a risk, not grabbing the Ultra, grabbing the middle child in the S24 Plus, being completely wild. But then also finally trying an iPhone again, my third iPhone, because I had the 14 Pro for a very short period of time before swapping out to the 15 Pro. And being able to now experience and have a good time with the 15 Pro, and not electing again for the big size. I elected for the smaller size. And how well it has really been treating me, I definitely appreciate that when it comes to the iPhone. Now, what else have I been able to appreciate? Well, again, the hardware for both, and starting with the Galaxy S24 Plus. I'm still going to leave it in the case, but, oh, actually, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the case to talk about what makes this look so good, and that's because of this Thanos purple here, and the fact that it has endured the entire time I've had these devices. I might try to sell my S24 Plus for the Fold 6. I'm not going to front, because I do want to finally experience the Fold life. I've experienced the Flip life. I like the Flip life. I like what Samsung brought with the new Flip 6. But I definitely would like to try the Fold 6 out. And that's the only thing that I would really swap this out for. Really, either the Flip or Fold, but primarily or preferably the Fold 6. But for a general slab device, typical iPhone, typical phone look, this is very sleek, and it has its own kind of unique look to it still, despite being what a smartphone would typically look like. And so from that perspective, I really like the hardware, and it's light for 6.7 inches. It's very light for 6.7 inches. And that's also what I like. And I think that's what kind of surprised me about this as well, is the fact that it is very easy to still carry around despite it being 6.7 inches. What a device. What a device. And so, in terms of hardware, what else? Buttons still clicky and tactile, which I definitely appreciate. The fingerprint sensor is fast as always. I only rocked the screen protector very briefly on this. It broke. Of course, it shattered. And I think the glass itself would have been fine in the way that the screen protector actually shattered. But nonetheless, I've been rocking this for the most part clean, and I've been enjoying my experience with the Galaxy S24 Plus. Swapping on over to the iPhone here, and I just put this case on, so I don't know if I really want to take it off. It's a hard case to get off. I'm not gonna front. This is Rinky's Atlas case. I love this gunmetal look. I like the tri-camera cutouts with the flash and the lidar sensor. I like what this phone brings to the table from a size perspective, and I like the natural titanium has still held up. So give me 1 second while I take this case off so I can show you that. And as we have it right here, this natural titanium is still wonderfully holding up, and you can't really beat it. I mean, I gotta just clean the glass in between the cameras, but outside of that, you guys see, and that's why going with natural titanium also works, is because it's going to still look like this, even if it was to get scratched up or dinged up. It's still gonna look in this color range, so you still wouldn't even notice if there was any true problems with the hardware, the casing, the framing, the glass. Now, the glass, you might see a crack because it's glass, but this phone has dropped, bounced around, fell out of my pocket, and with no case on, and I've not rocked a screen protector not one time on this phone, and it has maintained its supreme quality, and that's what you, surprisingly, you know, expect from Apple. Like, the big running joke with Apple phones, of course, or Apple devices is that, well, really, yeah, the phones, is that the glass shatters easily on the front or whatever. And thankfully, they've really improved that. And I also kind of baby my phone. So even though if I rock them naked, I'm very careful where I put my phones, what I do with them. And I just pay attention to where my phone is going to be to make sure that they stay in great shape. Even looking at the camera rings are still in great shape, since that's what the phone primarily sits on when it's on a countertop or table, desk, so on and so forth. This phone right here has been rocking out very, very well from a hardware perspective, and I love it. Camera modules look great. Cameras provide great quality. And so this is what we're getting from the two heavy hitters of 2024, really, is the Galaxy S24 Plus, the iPhone 15 Pro. Superb hardware followed up with very, very good cameras. And that's what we're going to talk about next briefly, is that the cameras stay improved, stay worked on by both companies. They both dropped a couple updates throughout the year that address the cameras specifically. And I'm glad that they did, because that's what we come to expect, again, from a company that's pushing and touting great camera life. And the one thing I like about the hardware with the iPhone 15 Pro is I have the action button that I use for the cameras. And in terms of, now you see there's somewhat of a different color look, right? The iPhone looks and appears to be a little warmer, but the Samsung seems to be a little more neutral, maybe. A little cooler, but a little more neutral than warm. But I'm glad that the companies pay attention to the cameras, to keep the cameras in great shape, so that way we can continue to get great pictures from our smartphones. And you see I got that Venom over there. Shout out to one of my friends who 3D prints and got a Venom made. And for one of his first 3D prints, it turned out very, very well. So what an image. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and snap that. And then let's go ahead and snap that. All right. And then if we pull up those images here real quick, I didn't take it as perfectly as I could have, but if you look to see, you can see that the Samsung runs a little cooler, or I would say more neutral, just looking at the wall, while the iPhone runs a little warmer. But both images are really good. You see the detail right beneath the eyes of the Venom print here. The teeth look fantastic. Look at that. I mean, goodness gracious. I think if I I double tap in, you can just see how just the quality is so supreme on both of these cameras. So shout out to both Apple and Samsung for continuously improving their camera game and continuing to improve them throughout the year. Now, aside from that, what else do I think works for these phones? Well, I do think with the iPhone in particular, having that extra action button works because I double tap for the wallet. You have no choice really with the iPhone, but double tapping the power button for the wallet is there. Whereas with the Galaxy, you can change what that does, double tapping the power button. And it could be the camera. I change it to the wallet because it's just to emulate. Similarly, it's a lot easier to access the Google Wallet. Now that I can add certain cards back to Samsung Pay or Samsung Wallet. Now I actually will probably move my camera back to the power button or just change the power button for something else because that's one of the things I was having problems with from a software perspective, which we'll get into shortly, is the difference between Apple Pay and Samsung Pay. But I like the action button that we have with the iPhone that really allows you to bring more more utility to the iPhone. And with the iPhone 16 on the horizon, and supposedly there may be another button over here, like a capture button, a dedicated camera button. This will again open this action button up for other utilities, other features to be able to use with the iPhone. And that's something that I definitely like, is that Apple's trying to find new ways and improved ways to add functionality to the iPhone while keeping it sleek, slim, and profilistic. I like that. I like that a lot. Now, let's go ahead and jump back over here. You don't really have a lot of buttons on this phone at all. That's one thing that is nice, but then also is like, well, I mean, you could do a little something extra. Is that they keep it real sleek on one side, power button and the volume rockers on the other side, and do with as you must. And like I said, if I click, opens Google Wallet. But now with Samsung Pay, whether or not I want to keep it over there, if I go ahead and turn the device off and I swipe up, I thought I had it on my always on display. Okay, maybe I don't. So if I do that and then I swipe up, then I can use it. And then I can get the card, and you see it's kind of got some good sounds with it. So that is something that's nice. I like being able to swipe up. I think I eliminated it from the always on display because it can be easy to accidentally trigger Samsung Wallet. And so for those reasons, that's why I have it to the lock screen and not even tied to the power button or the home screen, because it would be hard to swipe home when it's right there on the home screen. So this really does kind of lead right into software. And one of the things that I appreciate about Samsung is the plethora of software that you get. Now, granted, out of the box, you don't get some of it. You have to download via GoodLock. But I do like the fact that Android has always stayed on top of having plenty of features. Samsung specifically having a ton of features with their devices. And all you got to do is go into the settings. And whether it's in display, you have plenty of settings in here to tweak your phone from whatever, including adding the little capacitive buttons back or keeping a new, more modern navigation bar. And if it's not in there, Samsung has dedicated features to the battery. So you have a plethora of features to adjust your battery, whether it's battery power saving, your battery protection, right? Your charging settings, your wireless power sharing, if you want to, activate that to charge some buds or your watch. Right, you have all that information at your fingertips, wallpaper and style, something that Apple has improved upon. But again, it was here with Android first, and with the AI wallpapers already intact here, you have that, whereas I don't think that's quite available with the iPhone, even with iOS 18 on the horizon. But it does offer something that I don't think Android really offers or offers well, which would be Image Playground and Genmoji. So that's something that iPhone will have over the Samsung. But when you look at the home screen, they try to break. I think the settings could probably be shrunk a little bit more. Like lock screen and AOD could be in the display settings, right? So I think the settings can be messy. So you have your advanced intelligence here that I really don't use all that much. I'm not even going to front. I mean, I kind of use it via the Samsung keyboard, But I've not talked with anybody where I needed to translate over the phone. Thus I'm not really talking to a lot of people. I need an interpreter. I don't use Samsung Notes as often. I really use my Apple Notes more. Voice recorder. If I'm in a pinch, I might use it on this phone. But again, I may have my iPhone on me, and just so happens I'll use voice recorder over there. I do use Samsung Internet, and I do like using the summarize feature with Samsung Internet. That's the one feature I do consistently use, and I do allow the cloud service to help boost my AI processing. And so again, you have control there. You have control for your Bixby. You have labs where you can activate a couple other features in terms of dark mode and multi-window, your photo ambient wallpaper. So there's a lot more wallpaper display like features that you get with the Samsung Galaxy S24 series or the S24 Plus over the iPhone 15 Pro that I hope that we will see in the future. And again, motions and gestures, your multi-window, your side button, as I was just saying, you can change this to be whatever you want. I'm probably going to change this here to launch the camera again. And I use the press and hold the power off menu, which I think is a better option than what Apple does, even with the new updates with iOS 18. And so I think with the S24 Plus, you have so much more range when it comes to settings and features. And with One UI 6.1.1, it also provides those capabilities out of the box. I will say though, Android as a whole has gotten a little bit more lazy or complacent innovating on this software because they've innovated so fast and so well that they kind of have chilled out, and maybe they're kind of stuck. And I think with what Apple's doing with the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone in general, with some of their new features, the dark mode icons, they're taking aspects that isn't in Android and bringing it to the iPhone, including even blurring your background. Right now, I don't have mine currently blurred, but if I wanted to, oops, all I have to do is swipe down, press and hold, hit customize, come over here. If I hit blur, it's blurred. I hit done, and then I come back in, and once I swipe up, now it's blurred, right? And you get an idea of what it looks like here, right? That's my lock screen wallpaper, and I do have them matched, but then it goes blur. Helps everything stand out a little bit more. Looks clean. Now, this is something Apple's always had over Android. Android just has not been able to do this, nor with Samsung. And even with Good Lock on Samsung, being able to tweak that much more when it comes to your notification panel, your navigation bar, your apps, your the performance of the phone. There's just aspects that you still get on the iPhone that you don't get with Samsung. And that's actually surprising to me considering how customizable Samsung has made their devices. Apple, on the other hand, has always waited in the cut, observed, watched, paid attention, and then made certain tweaks and adjustments and or just completely did it a little differently, where to me, in my opinion, it looks a little bit better. Like, I like Apple's widgets more than what I've seen in Android. And with Android's widgets, they can look a bit funny, and that's where you go, uber customized, which you can now with the iPhone with widget apps like Widgie on the iPhone, Widget Smith on the iPhone. Then you got KWGT on Android, and you got third-party launchers in general on Android to just completely change the look and feel of the phone. If you feel like going that far, Android all day, baby. I used to do that back in the day with Nova Launcher, and I think I tried Lawn Chair Launcher, something like that. I tried that once. It was alright, but I like just being able to customize a little bit to individualize my phone, and then I keep it pushing. This menu still makes no sense for Apple devices. I'm surprised Apple didn't do anything with this with iOS 18. And right now I'm currently rocking the beta, which is why you see me with dark mode icons and certain other abilities such as what you see up at the top here with the edit and hitting the customize. I can customize that. I like how Apple did their control center. It looks a little bit more clean and modulistic than even Android's notification shade or quick settings panel. And again, that's why I said it's always interesting when Apple finally decides to do the customization, they do it right. They do it right, and I give them their full credit on that. I mean, being able to access so many different control modules within Control Center and to swipe through them. Like if I just hold down, look at this, I can switch between any of that. And you see how fluid this is on the third beta as a recording of this video. so much. Being able to record your calls within the phone, where you may have to download a separate phone app to do that on Android because natively it doesn't do it on the Samsung app. I think Google might have added it, but don't hold me to it in terms of the Pixel. But you have to download a separate third-party phone app to get that kind of ability, whereas you had to before also with the iPhone. But now Apple has actually integrated that into their phone app via iOS 18. So from a software perspective, Apple is winning in the software perspective, in my opinion, because when they decide to innovate and actually give us certain things, certain features, certain qualities, they come correct. Whereas Android, it's taken time over years, and now they're kind of at a place of a plateau or potential complacency when it comes to software. And now they're really focused on privacy and security, which is fair, but nothing exciting, nothing that really gets you to jump out at the phone. And I want to use that. I want to try that, like what we're getting with the iPhones. And I've rocked Samsung and Android for a very, very long time. And to know that look, widgets are inconsistent in size over here, right? It's crazy. Like, I like what this looks like, but it's just really, Apple Music is really teeny. It's almost about the same size as, it's even bigger on Apple. Then, like, what are we doing, Samsung? What are we doing? What are we doing, Android, right? And so that's one of the things I'm hoping that we see worked out with Android 16 next year, is that they bring their A game again when it comes to the software. But all that leads me to battery life. And for a little phone, or for a smaller size phone, 6.1 inch iPhone 15 Pro, I still get good battery life. Even with running the beta, which has, slightly dented the battery life, I have no complaints with my battery life with my iPhone 15 Pro. Whether I have always on display on or off, and what I mean by that is showing a wallpaper or just kind of a blacked out always on display, which just shows me time. My battery life has always stayed good, where I can make it through a day if I had to without charging it. But nothing beats size, right? Nothing beats size, and that's what you're going to achieve with a bigger phone in the Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus, is that you're going to get superb, fantastic battery life out of a 6.7 inch size phone. And I can say the same with the iPhone 15 Pro Max confidently, is that the battery life will be better, on not just because it's a bigger phone with a bigger battery. Same usage just means I will have more battery life. And so as you guys can see here, a full charge typically lasts 2 days, a day and 21 hours left on this battery at 79%. Battery life rocks on the Galaxy S24 Plus. And even if you ran it hard, you would still get through a day. You may not be able to get through 2 days, but you could get through two. You get through one day for sure, and probably through the afternoon on the next day with the Galaxy S24 Plus. And that's because with the software in mind, everything's optimized very, very well for the software, for the cameras, for app usage, the voltage, all that fun jazz. Very, very solid. Now, I will say between the two, when I cast to my TV, this phone, the Galaxy S24 Plus, will get hot sometimes for no reason, whereas my iPhone never really gets hot or heats up when I'm casting to the TV or connected to YouTube, whereas this and my Pixel 8a, both of these devices seem like they just suffer when it comes to casting or essentially connecting to YouTube and being able to play the videos and use this as basically a remote control for the TV. So I find that to be interesting from the battery perspective. That's the only thing that I really kind of have a gripe about there, and the fact that you get faster charger speeds out of the Galaxy S24 Plus over the iPhone. The iPhone does get decent wireless charging speeds, especially with my ESR 100 watt charger. That cryo boost really helps charge this phone that much faster because it stays cool. That means it can also stay charging it a lot faster for a lot longer. Whereas here, you get about, I think it's 15 to 20 watts wireless charging, which is about on par with the iPhone. I think the problem is with this. I think this has Qi 2. If not, Qi 2's coming with the next phones, but Qi 2, or this already has Qi 2. Forgive me on the wireless charging standards for the Galaxy S24 Plus. I just feel like they're both slow regardless for both phones, and we're at a place where we should be getting much better, much faster charging speeds. Now, Wired wise, you get 45 watt with this, whereas I think it's still like 27 maybe for the iPhone. But 45 watts is pretty fast. Of course, with all these other foreign phones coming out, I would love to see 60, 65 watts for the phone. You know, some phones got 165 watts, which is insane. But if we could get somewhere in the 60 watt range for our phones, where our phones charge pretty fast in a jiffy, we can get going. That would also, you know, quell a lot of battery complaints from other people because they could just quickly charge it back up and they're back in the game. And so that's one of the things that you're going to see from the Galaxy S24 Plus that will be better than the iPhone, is that you just get better, faster charging speeds with Android over the iPhone. Doesn't mean that the iPhone doesn't charge well, charge fast. It's just it's not going to charge as fast as the Galaxy S24 Plus, even for the little phone, which is, again, pretty interesting. Smaller battery, yet this will charge faster and complete faster than the iPhone 15 Pro. So with all that being said, which one can I recommend? Well, I have two ways of kind of looking at it. If you're in either ecosystem, so if you use Windows or you have Samsung based laptops and stuff around your house, of course, get the Samsung device because it's going to make sense for your use case. But if you use a lot of Apple based equipment, MacBooks, iPads, right, monitors and all that, you're probably going to be more well off using the iPhone 15 Pro or the iPhone. Get yourself an iPhone to complete that ecosystem because you cannot beat the sophistication, the cohesion within the ecosystem. Samsung has really beefed theirs up well over time, and with Google's help, they've even helped kind of broaden and universalize, if that's a word, quick share, meaning you can, quick share with any Android very well, very fast. And of course, you have AirDrop that does that in Apple's ecosystem. And so the ecosystems are very well just about on par from that perspective. So I would say from point one, if you're in either ecosystem, consider that as your reason why you buy either a Samsung or an iPhone. My second thought is, if you don't really care about the ecosystem or you're not really in the ecosystem and you just want a phone that you want to use on a regular basis, if customization is a big deal to you or not, then I would argue you could probably go with the iPhone over the Samsung. And it's crazy even for me to say that because, I'm a big Android guy, but I would probably take the iPhone over Samsung's Galaxy S24 Plus. Now, if I had a Fold sitting in front of me, it might be a little different. I'm so used to Apple's ecosystem now, and that's one of the things I will give them credit for. It's so easy to get comfortable in Apple's ecosystem once you get a few devices, and that's why I'm probably leaning towards the iPhone. But if I had a Fold up here, I might go with the Fold, despite being overly comfortable now with the iPhone and the Apple ecosystem. The Fold offers so much value, so much versatility, both in terms of a mini tablet and in terms of a device that will work in no matter what you need it for, and its productivity. The Fold, I would take the Fold over the iPhone. But since we're talking about the Galaxy S24 Plus over the iPhone, I would probably go with the iPhone 15 or the iPhone, right? Now, between these two, the 15 Pro or the 15 Pro Max, but I'm taking the iPhone over the Galaxy S24 Plus. And that's what I can recommend as a complete package, because to me, the cameras are also better on the iPhone than they are on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus. The Galaxy S24 Plus has moments where it may outshine the iPhone, but moments don't equate to consistency. The iPhone is more consistent than the Samsung device. And those are my thoughts. So let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this comparison. Which one would you take? Did this help you make your decision in terms of what you may choose for your daily life? The comment section is open for discussion. Again, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure to ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel notification bell. That's all free. That was my video, so you and I can sit back, check, see what's cracking. And don't forget to hit that super thanks button there button, like and dislike, Cash App and PayPal. And make sure you check the channel out for all the videos available to you. That's where to keep tech fresh and alive on this channel. Remember, Micah signing out. Until the next video. Wait for it.